Good Friday early evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream. Hope everything is going well out in the world. It is Friday, October 15th. Um, Lots going on right now, folks. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, throw them out. And if I can see them, I will definitely respond to them. First of all, a couple announcements. I want to thank Lisa Ansel in Los Angeles. Lisa put together a great film screening for us last night at the University of Southern California's Film School with the Kasdan Institute. And I want to say that Hebrew Union College was also involved there in some way, shape, or form. It was a great event. A bunch of really good people. Rabbi Jason Posner, Kiyomi Kowalski was also there. She's a veteran, an activist, and a lawyer. It was a very good event. Senator Chuck Schumer gave the opening remarks, as did USC President Carolyn Folt. It was a great, great event. It was like a 2-hour thing. We're going to have a recording for you of this soon, and I hope that you will check it out. It's very, very powerful discussion. Hey, speaking of Lisa, there she is. So yeah, I could not be more happy with how that all turned out. And I just want to tell you folks, it was Lisa that made this whole thing happen from ground zero a few months ago to finally pulling it off last night. I was amazed. You know, one person can make a huge amount of difference, guys. I mean, so like USC is a very conservative school, right? And quite frankly, they've got a little bit of baggage in their closet. I happen to know from firsthand experience on the student loan issue. But you know, we were able to get in at USC, and in fact, you know, have the president and a leading senator come to the shindig, and that is powerful stuff, guys. Who knows what will come from this? Probably some very good things. You know, if we had someone like Lisa in every state in the union, we could do this all over the country. We are ready and primed to give talks at any and all colleges, churches, chambers of commerce, any other public organizations. We do stuff with Democrats abroad in France. We would love to give an expert briefing to the Georgia Republican Party, for example. That would be absolutely fantastic. We're ready to go, you know, but it's kind of one of those things where everything starts locally. So if you get something going where you live, we will back you up 1,000%, and we will be there for you to assist you in your efforts. You know, this is a very powerful argument that we're making here, guys, and it needs to get out there. And as Lisa proved, one person can work absolute magic. And as I said, I'm just over the moon. I could not be happier with how it went last night. So as soon as I get the link to that, check it out. And again, thank you, Lisa. You freaking rock. Other announcements. So this is a Halloween thing, right? We have a Student Loan Justice Audiovisual Club. Two things. It's probably too early for me to announce both of them, but what the heck. First thing is they are wanting people to make like spooky Halloween videos about their student loan debt, with like the scared to debt theme. Frankly, I don't think any of us should be scared to death. And Kiyomi mentioned that at the thing last night, which I thought was great. But no, it's a great theme to build around. You know, so we've already got like one video in, and I can maybe post it here below. But yeah, make a cool video about Halloween and student loans. Like I'm thinking like zombies or something. So if you're an artist, if you're artistically inspired or ambitious, jump onto our AV club, and the people there can help you, you know, format stuff and like give you nice tips and tricks and pointers as far as like making a video on your phone and all that kind of thing. I will paste the link to that below. Second thing is we're going to do like a pumpkin carving contest, which I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I don't know. I think people can probably make a really scary student loan like thing, pumpkin thing. Like I don't know what I don't know what that would look like, but I think there's some potential here. And again, we've got some very creative people here in this group. I happen to know. So see what you can do. Let your creative juices flow. Maybe you could even dovetail the video thing into the pumpkin thing, or vice versa. Like make a pumpkin and then make a video about it or something. With like how terrible student loans are as a overarching theme. I won't say any more than that. I don't know how long or short they want to be. Usually we like stuff to be able to throw up on TikTok and short stuff like that, like 15 or 30 seconds. But check out the AV Club. I will paste a link to it and you can take it from there. So yeah, we're ready to roll, guys. I mean, we've been sharpening this knife for years now, and we have never been in a better position to go, maybe to hop on the Halloween theme, slicing, slashing, and dicing through this problem. We are totally ready to murder student loans. So if you set them up, we'll knock them down. You know, any reporter in your local area or nationally who you think should be reported on this problem, send them to us. We can answer all of the tough questions about student loan cancellation, about bankruptcy, about your own particular state and how terrible it probably is. Unless you're from like Hawaii or Alaska, your states are screwed. So just put it that way. I can make any state, maybe not those two that I just mentioned. Maybe not Wyoming too. So Wyoming, Alaska, Hawaii. If you don't live in Wyoming, Hawaii, Alaska, or maybe even New Mexico too, that might be a tough sell for us. But if you live in any of those other states, we can make your state look absolutely horrible, because it is, with student loan debt. And we will talk to any and all reporters. Maybe the most important thing I'll say right now is the number one thing we would love to do is talk to Republican governors. I cannot underscore how important that is. We would love to get in a talk with, you name it, Ron DeSantis in Florida, Greg Abbott in Texas, Ryan Kemp in Georgia, Mike DeWine in Ohio, Henry McMaster in South Carolina, Kay Ivey in Alabama, Christy Nee in South Dakota, Chris Sununu in New Hampshire, you name the Bill Lee of Tennessee, you name the southern state, and I can show you a southern state that is wrecked in student loan debt. They owe as nearly as much, or often even far more, than their entire state budget in student loan debt. And most of that is federal debt. So we've got a very strong Republican conservative argument to make. But it does us no good to be sitting here talking about it. It does us every bit of good to be in meetings with the governors or their staff or whoever, reporters in your local area. You know, we've got a very strong story to tell, but it does us no good to sit here and talk about it around the campfire and preach to the choir. This only counts when we're talking to the people who need to know and who can help. You know, if we could get even 2 or 3 Republican governors to stand up and say, Mr. President, that's enough. I will not let my great state of Georgia, Texas, Florida, all the states I mentioned earlier, I will not let my state be conquered and enslaved by this debt. Mr. President, cancel these loans. Or at a minimum, Mr. President, return bankruptcy protections to these loans at long last. It would happen. It would happen in a heartbeat, because the dirty little secret about Joe Biden, and there are many, but one dirty little secret about Joe Biden is that he really wants to impress the Republicans. He's a Republican at heart. I'm convinced. Like he wants to be a good old boy Republican. That's kind of where I just that's the vibe I get from Biden. And I've followed Biden around all over the country, or at least all over the state of Iowa for over a year. So I think I have a little bit of insight into the man. I think he's a closet Republican. So anyways, if Republicans band together and say, hey, Joe, come on, then he'll do it in a heartbeat. He'll be, oh, yeah, no, I was going to do that anyways. Yeah. Hey, we have some comments here from Lisa. And by the way, if anyone has any questions or comments, throw them out. I'm happy to respond to them as I see them. Lisa wants everyone to know that if anybody works with a university, contact her, and let's see if we can partner in bringing the film to your school. Absolutely. Everybody watching this, I think, has an alma mater, or maybe more than one. As an alumnus, that's the right, yeah. As an alumnus, you have special access to the powers that be at your university. Just as one of many alumni, you, at least in theory, have an in with your school. I'm sad to say that USC is actually my alma mater, but I had very little to do with putting together the thing last night. That was pretty much all Lisa. So again, hats off, Lisa. But no, I'm just you can send a letter to the, I don't know, media relations office at your college and say, hey, there's a great film. It just screened at the USC Film School, and Chuck Schumer and the president were there and gave remarks and blah, 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 blah. And can we do this at our school? And we are, as I said, I can't speak for Mike, but I suspect strongly that Mike is very happy and willing to screen this first episode at any and all colleges. And quite frankly, the colleges have, they owe us. Let's just put it that way. They have been sitting in the catbird's seat on this student loan issue for decades now. They receive probably 85, if not 90 or even more % of that student loan money that goes out. So they kind of owe us, and right now they should have a very guilty conscience as they look out over this catastrophically failed lending system, the suicides, the people fleeing the country, the probably decline in their alumni donations, I suspect are starting to come home to roost. So, yeah, everybody out there, 100% of the 20,000 people on this group and the 1,061,000 people on our petition, they can all call their colleges and do that. So, take it upon yourself, guys. You know, I think Lisa's great demonstration, again, and you should be encouraged and inspired by how Lisa demonstrated last night that one person can make a huge difference. But we don't expect all of our million members to spend, make it like a part-time or even half-time or maybe even full-time for brief periods job to help us fight for student loan justice. We don't expect, that from everyone. But everyone can put in a few minutes of time, like maybe a few minutes per week. So on that note, I would urge all of you to go to our website, studentloanjustice.org, check out the daily updates that we publish, not every day, but like at least 3 or 4 times a week. And you will see daily actions on all of those updates. I would beg and plead if I thought it would make a difference. I shouldn't have to beg or plead because these are your loans and your problem. And we are a truly, truly, truly grassroots group where nothing happens unless you make it happen. But I would just strongly urge you and encourage you to go there, studentloanjustice.org/daily update, and go back a couple weeks, maybe even a month, and do these daily actions. They will help tremendously. Usually, they only take literally a few seconds. Usually, it's like, hey, retweet this, and send it to a celebrity, or send an email to this guy, or text this to that for our resist bot. It's very simple stuff. Literally only takes seconds to do. So you could probably do an entire month worth of our daily actions in less than about a half an hour, I'm thinking, if you're proficient. So it's not hard stuff. And I love the idea, Lisa. Yeah, people contacting your own university, where you live. That's a great place to start. Just pick up the phone. As I said, we've got a very strong argument to make. And I will also say, guys, everywhere we've gone and had an argument on this, we have won. And in fact, most of the time that we get into an honest discourse with even the most resistant, pay your loans, why should my tax dollar pay for your loans type of person, at the end of every honest engagement we have ever had with people like that, they usually wind up not only agreeing with us, but often even apologizing to us because they just don't know how horrible, how unconstitutional, how viciously predatory, how different student loans are from every other type of loan in our nation's history. They just don't know. And they won't know until we tell them, usually, is it seems to be the way it goes. So we are ready to roll, guys. We're ready to rock this town. We are ready to spread the word. We've been shouting it from the rooftops for years. The only difference now between the past 15 years and today is, or say 2 years ago, we now have a very serious muscle to flex in terms of just human people in our group. You know, the 20,000 people on this Facebook group is great, but you know, we've got over 1 million people on our petition now. And if even half the people in our group spent even like 15 minutes a week, like doing the stuff that I just said, these loans would be gone in probably a month or two. Like, there is so much strength. We have so much untapped muscle. And, you know, I've said it 1,000,000 times, and I hate having to repeat myself, but dudes, you have no idea how important you are. When you and everybody does nothing, nothing happens. When you and everybody does something, even something relatively small, innocuous, mountains are moved. So whatever is holding you back, I know a lot of people are ashamed of their own personal situation and they don't want to take risk and they're afraid of putting their name out there publicly, and there's all kinds of reasons to do nothing, and I know student loans just suck in the first place, like even to think about at all. Get over that. Put that out of mind and out the window, because that doesn't help anyone. Sitting there waiting, watching, and worrying helps no one. It hurts you, it hurts us, and it hurts the 45 million people in this country who we are fighting for, whether they know it or not. They will never know it unless you tell them, right? If everybody on our group was to get even 2 or 3 people to maybe join our groups and sign our petition, we'd overnight have 5 or 6 million people in our group and on that petition. If we did that twice, we'd have like 20 million people. So how hard is it for you to get 3 people you know with student loans to sign our petition? I'm sorry, but I don't think it's that hard. I think it's all on you, and I think it just matters what your will is. Do you have the will to help us fight and kill this problem quickly? It's the right thing to do. The founding fathers are on our side. The nation depends on us, literally, to avoid an economic catastrophe and decades of literal financial oppression, if not virtual enslavement and virtual and maybe even at some point actual imprisonment. You know, I don't think we want to see debtors' prisons brought back to this country. And I can tell you that there are people out there who wouldn't mind that a bit. There are some very dark forces out here in the country who would love to conquer and enslave us in debt for many reasons. That has always been true in this country, by the way, going back to the days of literal slavery and indentured servitude. So there's a lot riding on this. We are fighting the good fight, and this whole thing hinges on your will. Are you going to sit there and wait and watch and worry and do nothing? And watch talking heads like me give you the blow by blow as we sink deeper and deeper into this hole? Or are you going to get off your ass and help? I see pretty much everybody on this group that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, they're out there doing stuff. They're out there doing it's not hard, but it's maybe not particularly pleasant effort and work that we need. But for every Paula and Patrick and Lisa, there's 97 people who have never done anything. Never done one damn thing, except for maybe sign up for this group or sign our petition. And I'm sorry, guys, but these are your loans. This is your problem. This problem requires more than your petition, more than your signature. So it's all on you. We're waiting on you. We're waiting on you to have the will to stand up, throw off all the whatever nonsense is inside your head that's holding you back from fighting this very good fight. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, we go both ways, guys. This is not a partisan issue. I would love to go talk to Republicans more than Democrats, quite frankly. I'm a guy, I like to go in the lion's den. That's just me. But you can do whatever works for you according to your own unique talents and skills. Hey, we have a few comments that I've been neglecting here. Sorry about that. Let's see, in no particular order. So Paula asks, how many people have committed suicide over this? Ugh. Well, that's a dark question, Paula, but it's good that you asked. We have hard documented 4 at this point, including a married couple in Manhattan, most recently. But we have had people come to us and tell us about their family members who have committed suicide. Largely, and it's a very complicated issue, obviously, but largely and at least on paper and acknowledgedly, because of their student loan debt. We know about 7 to 10 out there, but we don't see everything, guys. And suicide is it's a very complex issue. Often, we'll never know. What we know about is the tip of a much larger iceberg. Of that, there is no doubt. And this is kind of ghoulish. I kind of want to get off this topic, so I won't say too many more things about this. But they're out there, and for anybody who has suicidal ideations, no, don't do that. That's stupid. We need you above ground helping us, and that's the bottom line. Don't go that way. This is a fight that's easily won, and it's easily fought, quite frankly. So there's no good reason to. And don't forget, guys, these are just student effing loans. This is not nuclear launch codes. This is not like high treason. These are student effing loans. There's no good reason to let some stupid failed lending instrument and lending systems fail quite frequently, guys. In world history, even our own national history, even in the past 15 years, we've seen at least like 3 lending systems fail. It happens. It's not your fault. It's the lending system. It was a bad idea. Student loans were a bad idea. S&L loans were a bad idea. Subprime home mortgages were a bad idea. Not our idea. We just got sucked into it. So don't feel bad. And by all means, do not even think about killing yourself. Guys, just don't do it. But there was a guy in Denver, and this is the last thing I'll say. There's a guy in Denver, somewhere in Colorado, I want to say 2 summers ago. He filed for bankruptcy. His largest debt by far was student loans. And lo and behold, as happens to 99.9% of everybody who files for bankruptcy with student loans, he could not get his loans discharged. And within 2 months, he literally murdered his wife and his 2 daughters. And I don't even want to tell you the grisly details. It's just too terrible. I've never even talked about this case publicly, but it just pops into my mind. I don't know. I actually called his lawyer, believe it or not, at one point, but I've never pursued it beyond that. I have to think that somewhere in that just tortured mind of his, in the run-up to that horrible, horrible act, I have to think that student loans were a contributing factor. So what else does student loans contribute to? A lot that we'll never know about, guys. It's just bad in every way. There's nothing good about indebting your population to the point of such Horrible acts. Anyways. So Patrick Donahue says 45 million people in this debt is a systemic problem, not just... Right, exactly, Patrick. People love to wag their finger at the borrowers. Oh, why'd you borrow so much? What were you thinking? People like Dave Ramsey, who, by the way, makes money on the side, so he's a snake. He's a charlatan, a finger-wagging snake. But I digress. The default rate for subprime home mortgage loans was 20%. By my best estimate, the default rate for everybody walking around right now with student loans is going to be, it was going to be 75%, if not higher, before the pandemic. So we're looking at a default rate of, who knows, 85%? So my question to the finger waggers is, at what default rate do you stop blaming the borrowers and start looking at the lending program? We're already at 80%. What, 85, 90, 95, 100? Is that what you need? You need every single person with a student loan to fall into default on their loans to maybe start blaming the lending system rather than the borrower? I mean, come on. This is an argument very easily won, guys. Like I said, those finger waggers, they are a mile wide and an inch deep. You can swat them away like flies. It's not hard to do. Don't get me started. Yeah, Paula's notes, if we involve ourselves with other activist groups, it can help. This is a women's issue. It is a mental health issue. You're absolutely right, Paula. And, for example, we worked with a progressive group called Democrats Abroad. We've worked with the Rainbow Coalition, Jesse Jackson's group in Chicago in the past. We've worked with the Service Employees International Union, believe it or not. We've worked with hundreds of groups at this point. And we stand at the ready to work with any... I wouldn't say all groups, because some groups are dirty, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are some groups that are literal astroturf. They are propped up by secret money in Washington, D.C. from the lending industry. And believe it or not, there's a little hidden industry in this country where bankers and oil companies and tobacco companies and insurance companies and whatever, big money corporations pay people to create fake grassroots movements. So we don't like to deal with those groups, and there's at least one of them in the student loan space that I could point to, maybe two, but I won't mention any names again. But by and large, we are thrilled to work with any and all groups. AARP would be great. We haven't done anything with AARP. Chambers of commerce everywhere. Women's groups, African American groups. You name it. This is a women's issue. This is, I would say it's an African American issue, a Latino issue. This is a veterans issue. This is a red state issue. This is a senior issue. There are more people over the age of 35 than under the age of 35 with student loan debt. I could go on for a while here, but this issue cuts across almost every demographic, and it hurts very many demographics in particular. It's amazing. My head explodes thinking about how huge our coalition is. It's not Democratic. It's not Republican. No. It's totally, it blows that whole stupid chasm apart. We blow right past the whole partisan divide. We blow past gender, we blow past race, we blow past... The only people who aren't hurt by this are the very wealthy. And I mean the very, very wealthy. Even the moderately wealthy people out there, they don't get student loans, but they have to pay. They have to write checks for their kids' tuition. And they are being sucked into the same inflation as everyone. So I'm telling you guys, we are potentially so absolutely strong. But again, it starts with you. It just does. This is a full-time job for me. I do everything I can. I'm shooting emails out, probably dozens or sometimes even hundreds a day, individual emails. And, I can do that all day long, but I think it really takes an army. It takes a village. There is true strength in numbers. Everybody out there, shouldn't think that they can sit back and eat popcorn and watch this problem solve itself. It just will not happen that way. It has never happened that way. How it has always worked is that people like Lisa or Paula or Patrick have taken it on their own initiative to get their hands maybe a little dirty, but owning this problem and realizing that we here right now are the pioneers. We truly are. For every one of us, there is like 50, if not close to 100 people out there who will never do anything, or not will never, but have never done anything on this problem. With a little over 1 million people, we comprise roughly 2% of all student loan borrowers in the country. So we are the tip of the spear, guys. We are the pioneers, whether we like it or not. That is just the fact, and you cannot unhear what I just said. We are the pioneers. So we, sitting here, as unlikely as it may seem, we need to punch above our weight. We need to go a little bit above and beyond. This is not about signing and forgetting a petition. This isn't about, like, I don't know, buying a t-shirt or something stupid. No. We're not that. This isn't like save the whales, $10 and get a t-shirt and you feel good about it. No. We're trying to actually solve a problem here, and this problem is your problem. It's my problem, but it's your problem. And you are way more important than I am. And yeah, I'm not going to belabor that point, but come on, guys. Be inspired. Get off your ass. What else were you going to do? Is getting rid of your student loans not worth at least a little bit of your effort? I cannot think of a more worthy fight to be fighting. Just from in the panacea of worthwhile fights to get into. This is good trouble, and it's not even trouble. At this point, it's not trouble. Hopefully it's not trouble. But there is I could not be more, I feel very privileged to be making this fight. It's a very historic battle that we're in. And it's a very real battle. And it's easily won, but again, it takes an army. And we have that army now. So I'm not going to repeat myself. You should already know what I'm saying. If you're above the age of 30, come on now. You know how life works. You got to work for stuff. So, yeah, I see we have quite a few people who are multi-intersectional with this problem. Let me just add a few other things to that list. This is a veterans issue. This is a seniors issue. This is a woman's issue. This is a veterinarian's issue. This is a chiropractor's issue. This is a massage therapist issue. There's a couple other spikes in our membership. This is a single mom's issue. Don't know why, but it is. I've seen the spikes. I know what we have. I know the spikes in our group, and all those things I just mentioned are included. I could probably sit here and figure out a dozen more issues that this is. But I will leave it there at that. I think I've gone a little longer tonight. I'm just thrilled. I can't tell you enough how thrilled I am at how cool the thing last night at USC went. I'm still kind of buzzing about that. We're going to get a recording of that, I hope, Lisa, soon, so you can see it for yourself. But, yeah, just be thinking about what you can do, guys. And if you're looking for inspiration, simply go to our website, go to those daily updates, and do a week's worth. You can probably do a week's worth in about 6 minutes. As I said, this is short stuff. It's like Twitter this, resist bot that. It's send an email there. Easy stuff. So, all right, guys, I'm going to leave it there at that. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Sunday, earlier if necessary. You know, I'm kind of a 24/7 guy, so as stuff happens, I'm always here to tell you about it and respond to it and, mobilize the masses. So have a great night. Spread the word about this group and this petition. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless everybody.